Welcome, Find the Numbers. Tyson Banker with you here, Bench Clear Media. Excited to be back with you guys, putting out some content for you. I got a quick little Prism update for you, go over some football stuff with you, but I just hope everyone's having a great summer. Just kind of getting to mine, doing the family tour right now. We call these the COVID catch-up tours. I'm trying to see a lot of family. Hasn't seen me or my kids in a couple of years now. It's definitely more difficult coming from Canada, but we finally made the 10, 12-hour drive down here to Eastern Oregon and Washington, where a lot of my family is, and it's been great. But anyways, hope you're having a great summer. Excited to get into this with you. A lot of things happen in Prism right now. It's really late. It's really weird timing. A lot of players didn't perform to what we thought. So it's just been, all in all, it's just kind of a down product. I'd just say, just like the feel of it. But we're going to go over the wax prices. We're going to go over how some player prices are doing, and also kind of get into a bit of if 2022 has any hope for products. Before we dive into that, I did also want to mention as I pull up the slides here, as I am going to kind of alter my content just a little bit as we go into, I'd say starting now, just kind of not being just specific to football. If you notice, I was doing the flagship podcast and talking exclusively baseball with Rob Kent. Unfortunately, that podcast came to an end, but I still have a passion for baseball. I have a passion for all sports. I know a lot of you guys want rookie reports for basketball as well. So I'm going to branch out a lot of my kind of data collection, different things, all different sports, and kind of give a nice little variety of content that just kind of sticks to being behind the numbers. So I hope you guys appreciate that. But again, make sure you follow me at numbers_behind, and anything in comments in the show notes, or excuse me, on the video notes would be great. I'd love to respond and interact with you, and hope you guys are, again, having a great summer. All right, let's dive into this. Prism has been very interesting to say the least. So let's kind of talk about just kind of where the wax is right now. The wax has been relatively stable for the most part. And a couple of things have dropped a little bit since I pulled the kind of first week data. But when we look at this, we have the first off the line hobby box. That's kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to hobby boxes. And that was still kind of relatively right in 2,300, 1,800 range, very consistent. Prism hobby boxes are hitting for 1,400 still. That was just a sale yesterday, actually. Prism no huddle is hitting 700, 800 consistently, kind of closer to 700 lately. Prism mega box 75 to 95. Blasters on both sides of Fanatics and the retails are both down. 15% down for the Fanatics and 20% down for the just regular retail blasters. I really think the reason is just the value has really been in the hangers when it comes to retail. Megas, you can get autos, a little bit better chances, a lot of the green pulsars and different things. I just feel like the blasters that I've seen open and breaks and whatnot has not been as good as the hangers or the megas. The cellos are sitting about 18 to 22. And again, sorry, the hangers are 30, 35, both for Target and Walmart. Walmart has the red ice, Target has the light blue prisms. But all in all, they're kind of staying pretty stable except for the blaster boxes. Which retail products have you liked the best? Go ahead and give me a comment on YouTube. I'd love to see what you think. Again, I've really liked the hangers. I had some good success with the Walmart hangers. I've got Trevor Lawrence red ice so far, Trey Lance variation silver so far in the couple that I've opened. So I feel like the hangers have been the best for me. In terms of just the checklist notes, like why is the product a bit slower? Why is the value not where we want to see? As you see it tweaked to the singles prices, you kind of see that. One thing is that the base card set went from 400 in 2020, 2019 to 440 now. So they've increased the print run in terms of the base card set by 10%, which is big. That means more color and wasted silvers and wasted cards you don't want on possible guys. 43 parallels, so that's up from 38 parallels in 2020. So they added 5 new parallels. This is kind of an astonishing one for me. 179 Prism vet autos, 95 rookie autos, so 274 total. Last year was 103 vet and 94 rookie autos. So the rookie autos were close, but you see you picked up 76 autos you probably don't want in terms of value. So you almost 100 more autos are in the set as well. Color Blast, Stained Glass was 20 for both of those this year. It was 15 Color Blast and 20 last year. So not a huge change in those, but still 5 jump on the Color Blast. So something also to pay attention to. So again, raising the numbers of checklists to raise the print run, to raise how much they can put in the boxes for us, makes it harder for us to hit cards, especially in breaks or ripping ourselves. So when that's happening and how you see the singles are down, it gets very underwhelming in terms of how you do overall when it comes to the product. In terms of hobby parallels, I'm not going to read them to you, but there's basically 16 in the hobby that you kind of have here. So you have kind of ones I like. I do like the green scopes. I do like the snake skins, very cool card. Purple ice is a nice one. The red wave prisms are pretty neat as well. And then you have very similarly, you have the retail is a very similar list. So with retail, you have the blue prisms again that comes in the hangers. The red ice comes in the hangers. Red, white, and blue comes in the cellos. But all in all, the neon green pulsar comes in the mega boxes. Are kind of ones you can look to see. The lasers come in the, I believe, the blasters. So overall, it's just really nice that they have all the parallels of those guys. But these are the ones that you have to kind of be really careful with because these are the ones that aren't numbered. Retail has 0 numbered cards this year, which is, unfortunately, there's no way for you to hit a numbered Prism card in retail. So it gives the hobby a pretty big advantage in certain stuff you want to grade. But when it came to like the red prisms and the red ice prisms from last year's product, those still had a pretty low pop. So overall, they were not printed to an uncomfortable level last year, but this year they still could be, because again, not being numbered gives us a lot of questions, you could say. Which parallels do you guys like the best out of retail? I'd like to hear what you say in the video notes for that. I think for me, red ice. I think the red ice is just a really clean looking card. I feel like the laser prisms are a little bit all over the place, a little bit too much to look at. But I think the ice kind of that sapphire look. I'm a big sapphire fan when it comes to the baseball products. So definitely the red ice prisms are kind of my favorite. So here's some kind of just sales of the big guys that we want to be watching right now. I did put Davis Mills on there because Davis Mills is a guy who is a starting quarterback, so we do have to give him his due. But if you look across there, there's not one guy that is over $30 for his base prism, and that to me is incredible. You look at last year in Prism. Prism came out. Prism did come out. Joe Burrow was healthy, and then Joe Burrow did blow his knee out. And so if you think that was so long ago, that is when the last Prism was released. And I remember his cards didn't move too much after his injury, and he was still going for $75 per base prism, and that's raw. So Joe Burrow, and we know Joe Burrow is better than all these guys right now. He's been to a Super Bowl, he's accomplished a lot more, but that's still his rookie year, and he just blew his knee out. And he was going for double Mac Jones, like more than double Mac Jones. You down here, we have Zach Wilson's not even getting $10 for his base prism, and he's potentially having, he has a good chance to have a breakout year. They have a lot of young talent around him. They built that team pretty well through the draft. But all these base prisms are just peanuts. There's really no risk in any of these guys. So I'm pretty excited about the 2020 class because just a lot of their value is really low. So you can get in at a great price and you have a chance to see that grow. Now we have to take in the variables of the market crashing in terms of, just everybody's market and the card market's still coming down. But you still have opportunities here. And I think a lot of you guys are undervalued just because a lot of them haven't shown it at a high level, except Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the one guy that did perform at a very high level in his rookie year for the class, but from a receiver position. So we kind of just bounce around here. So again, Mac Jones is hitting 26 to 30 for his base prism compared to Trevor Lawrence, 12 for 18. Trey Lance is 11 to 18. Justin Fields, 5 to 12. Zach Wilson, 5 to 9. Jamar Chase, 11 to 14. So Chase is right in there in that third QB range in terms of price value. And then Davis Mills is kind of all over the place, 1 to 8 is where he's going. I think of this group, I do think that Zach Wilson is the best value. I think him and Justin Fields are kind of being overlooked right now by the other three. Trey Lance, we don't even know he's going to start yet, so that's a very difficult guy to feel great about. He was really raw coming out, so we have to kind of tread lightly when it comes to Lance chasing for sure. For silver prisms, so that's kind of your main chase when it comes to prism. 220 for Mac Jones. So these are all raw prices. Nothing's been graded yet, but for the most part, nothing's been graded yet. Trevor Lawrence, 100 to 120. Lance, 90 to 100. 90 to 100 for Fields. 80 to 120 for Wilson. 71 for Jamar Chase. 55 for Mills. Pretty good solid value for Mills there for a guy that not too many people believe in. That red ice, I did excuse me. I did pull off the red ice there. Just one of my favorites. Mac Jones, 150 for his base red ice. Trevor Lawrence, 79. Trey Lance, 100, 125. Probably for him a little bit nicer for being a color match. Justin Fields, 80. 52 to 60 for Zach Wilson. Jamar Chase, 40. And Davis Mills, 24. So when we look at kind of a couple high sales, this was about a week ago, so I pulled some kind of high sales of these guys. RPA out of 99, 3K for Mac Jones came out of Prism. Navy Camo is a new parallel out of 25 for Lawrence, 3,500. Blue Shimmer Auto for Trey Lance, 3,400. Stained Glass, very fun parallel rookie card in this set. Justin Fields went for 2,800. Red Shimmer Auto for Zach Wilson out of 35 went for 1,950. Stained Glass went for $15.50 for Jamar Chase, and a gold shimmer out of 10 for Davis Mills went for $27.50. So you start seeing some value in the high end stuff still. The base is really falling out in terms of value. Silver prisms are holding pretty solid for the most part, but the real money on the silvers is when they're graded as a 10. That's your best value option. Which guy in this list of 7 do you think is the most undervalued? Love to see in the show notes what you guys feeling with that in the comments. I keep saying show notes, but I mean comments. All right. Okay, so let's kind of jump into. So that's kind of all I had for Prism. Again, just kind of my final take on Prism is just that right now we have a class that overall underachieved. We have wax prices really high, and the value of things you're hitting isn't making it feel great about what you get. So people are, I think, just kind of being a little bit patient with Prism. So the breaks have slowed down quite a bit. I've seen a lot of things not fill. The retail stuff is being bought up. I mean, it just overall, it's still something that I think retail makes it somewhat affordable, but the hobby stuff has been very difficult to move from a break standpoint from what I've seen. So here is the 2022 NFL kind of draft class. So these are the guys that we could look to the 2022 products, kind of what to look ahead. We knew this class was very weak in quarterbacks. I've been telling you that all year on the show to kind of just this 2021 class is going to be the last one for a bit until 2023. We have Bryce Young and some kind of big quarterbacks coming through. But this class was weak. In the first 86 picks, there was 3 quarterbacks with only 1 in the first round. It's very receiver heavy. I had the number for you here. There is, it was in a record setting. It was 13 receivers are drafted in the first 2 rounds. There's tons of receiver talent in this draft. We started with Drake London at 8, Garrett Wilson at 10, Chris Olave at 11, and Jamison Wilson at 12. Jamison Williams, he's probably went way higher if he didn't hurt his knee in his bowl game. But Lions for Jamison Williams, Olave for Saints, and Garrett Wilson for Jets. So we'll have a Wilson to Wilson connection there, and Drake London to the Falcons. All in all, in the draft, it's a very exciting fantasy football draft because a lot of fantasy football is PPR and the receivers are plenty. So that's pretty exciting. But obviously for the hobby, we want to see what quarterbacks can make noise. I will say in terms of this class being weak at quarterback, I do feel that the one quarterback that went in the first round went to a nice fit where he can get some hobby love. We had Kenny Pickett go to Pittsburgh at 20. He played at Pitt. He played in that stadium. They've seen him the closest. They knew him the best. Feels like kind of just the fit that he could have had the best chance to, I think, win early, being an older quarterback, and also seeing a franchise like Pittsburgh believe in a guy like him that was playing right in their house all the time. I just think that's a really good fit. So I do think Kenny Pickett has a chance to have some value. And one other thing I do like about him a lot as well is he's going into a situation, unlike Lawrence, where he's got some tools. He's got Deontay Johnson. He's got Claypool, Najee Harris, pretty decent old line they always put together. That team always competes in that division. I just think that he could have a good year. Now, he's got to beat out Trubisky, which I think he could. But my main point is I think that he's got the talent around him, and that franchise has seen him every day playing right across, basically in the same stadium for Pitt. The other quarterbacks just kind of mentioned is Desmond Ridder went to the Falcons, so he'll kind of back up Mariota for a little bit. Malik Willis went to Titans. I think that's quite interesting. Malik's very raw. He was the guy that people kind of, I think, overvalued in the draft. Thought he's going to go much higher out of Liberty. Big guy, can run, throws, rocket arm, not great accuracy, not quite the passing tools you're looking for, hopefully to develop. But at the same time, I think everybody knows the Titans kind of flopped, and Tannehill definitely flopped when it came to the playoffs last year. So they may be looking for some other options, some other things to help them kind of get to that next step. So if they kind of get Malik Willis to give them their dimension of that offense, it could make a nice fit. The Titans have been very competitive under Vrabel and what they've done with that team. So I do think that Malik Willis is a guy to kind of watch as a sleeper, but I would not pay up in breaks just because he's a quarterback. So definitely don't do that. But look at this list. Again, it's receiver heavy. Will Christian Watson be able to replace Adams? Obviously you can't just replace Adams like that quickly, but they got, their pick at 34 there. They went receiver. Breece Hall to the Jets. Kind of interesting because they had Michael Carter look pretty good as well, but Jets just adding tools for Zach Wilson. They got, Garrett Wilson, and they also had Breece Hall, arguably number 1 receiver and number 1 running back on a lot of boards. So that's big. Kenneth Walker to the Seahawks. We'll see how they'll be without Russell Wilson, but he's been a very dynamic running back at Michigan State. Was very talented. So it's just interesting to see how these guys fall. But I mean, does the 2022 have a chance? I'd say in terms of the hobby, it's going to be a very weak year. It's going to be a weak year. I would not be overly excited about the products. I do think that Kenny Pickett and a couple of these receivers could definitely have great years, but we know the values in the quarterback. And I think compared to last year, where you had 5 guys that you really 4 guys that you could feel really good about as top picks. We're not even close to that, as we know. So it's going to be very difficult in the hobby perspective. It'll be very interesting to see how Prism is priced and how they come out to make this a little bit more exciting for people. Because I think right now it's going to be a dud. I think it's going to be a very slow year when it comes to the hobby in 2022. What are your thoughts, 2022? What was your favorite draft pick? I know it's been a while since the draft at the end of April, but I'd love to hear what your take was on 2022 guys coming in. So kind of getting right to it here. My 5 biggest questions we approach 2022. Who will start in San Francisco? That is a huge question. Jimmy Garoppolo is not gone. He's still there. Everybody wants to see what Lance can do. But if they have Garoppolo on the books, are they going to have to start him and make Lance sit longer? It's going to be very interesting to see what San Francisco does. Deebo Samuel wants out. Like, there's some weird stuff going on there, but I'm really interested to see what happens with that situation. And the Panthers, who will emerge as their quarterback 2022. Not only do they have Darnold, they have Baker Mayfield now, and they also drafted Matt Corral, who was one of the top quarterbacks in the class with a lot of skill, a lot of talent out of Ole Miss. He did get hurt in his bowl game as well. That's why he kind of dropped. Just an ankle injury. Not good for him, but it's not his arm or anything. Can kind of hurt his ability to throw. But interesting to see how he comes through as well. But Panthers have a lot of missing pieces around. If CMC can stay healthy and get the receivers going, but very interested to see if the Panthers can get a guy that can get in there and get that offense to click with CMC, DJ Moore, and company. I think the third question for me is, can Tom Brady make another run? They made some changes in the front office. He kind of seemed to not be as good grace with the Arians as people thought, which I thought was interesting. I thought Arians got along well, but apparently not. He's out. I moved up to management. But can Tom make another run? He's got, get Godwin back. Had some tough injuries down the stretch last year that kind of restricted them. But just I'd like to see if Tom can get another, NFC Championship or back to the Super Bowl would be incredible. Just seeing how many appearances he can stack in his career. But that's kind of one of my big questions. Can they do it? I think a big question in Dallas is, can Dak get back to pre-injury form? I think when he started out pretty good, but you can tell that he got a little bit fatigued down the stretch of the season last year as Dallas started to kind of fall apart a little bit. You can kind of blame that on coaching a little bit, but he didn't look right either. He looked a little bit slower in the pocket, not as light in his feet. I'd like to see if Dak can kind of get back to what he was like 2020 Dak. Would be nice to see if that can happen. Or is he on the decline? Because he's on the decline, that team's in trouble. Because Dak on the decline, Zeke's definitely on the decline. I mean, Tony Pollard's probably their best back. I'm not sure where we're to go in terms of Dak and his value if he can't have another solid season coming soon. And then the last question is, can Rodgers be effective without Devontae Adams? I felt like Rodgers could get by with a lot of things that he did last couple of years because he had Adams as an elite receiver that he could just zero in on. He knew he can make it work. Well, he doesn't have that anymore. So what's going to happen now? And they drafted a couple guys. They bring in a couple guys to fill in some voids, but they're voids. They're not, Devontae Adams level talent. So for me, it's just, I really want to see what that offense looks like. Or is Rodgers just showing up to get a paycheck and he's on his way out as well? Because that would be kind of bad for his value long term as well if he can't get another ring in his career. But what is your biggest question for 2022? Again, I'm happy you're back, guys. I want to give you a quick, short, sweet show here. It's exciting to come back and talk about Prism. I'm excited to see kind of how these graded cards do in terms of condition. A couple of them seem a little bit off center. But I do think that we'll have some good chances to make some good gains on some of these 2021. I keep getting confused because of the years are so far back. But these 5 quarterbacks with Mills, Lawrence, Lance, Fields, Wilson, and Mac Jones, I think these guys, they have a chance to really jump up in value if they have another good year in their second year. So again, thanks for being with me today. You can follow me at numbers_behind. I will have some more content for you coming up soon. I think the next thing on my list is to hit up the baseball rookie report, which I like to do at the All-Star break, which is right around the corner. And Mariners just won their 14th game in a row, so go Imps. Have a good day. Thanks, guys.